Despite everyone having the same length of time in a day, some individuals appear to be able to use their time more effectively. In terms of practice, some vocalists seem to be able to get more out of their practice sessions than most. Today, I will provide you with 10 singing tips that will make a drastic difference in the value of your singing practice and help you get the most out of every minute you spend. This is very powerful stuff, and I hope you'll keep watching to learn more.
Sound check.
Hey there everyone, my name is Dr. Dan. Welcome back to Voice Essentials, the YouTube channel where everybody sings. And when I say everybody, I mean you. Learning to sing is a lifelong journey requiring countless hours of dedicated practice, learning new songs and technically developing the voice. And just like you, I don't want one single minute to be wasted when I step into my practice space. So I'm always looking for great practical tips to help me and you get the absolute most out of our singing voice. Not long ago, I read a small piece by Dr. Dean Southern in a dictionary for the modern singer titled Practicing 101, 10 Tips for Making the Most of Your Time Between Lessons. This fantastic little chapter contains lots of valuable advice, so I'm using it as the primary source material for this video. Please watch the whole video as the tips aren't sorted in any particular way. Tip number 10 is just as important as tip number 1. Speaking of which, Dr. Southern's first power tip is to schedule your practice time. I know I work through a to-do list best when I schedule the task in my diary. Now, suppose you don't allocate the time to your day. In that case, you are likely to have other priorities crowd out the opportunity to practice. Dr. Southern also recommends scheduling your practice at an optimal time when you know you won't be too tired to work. When you do schedule the time, make the practice room your sacred space. Nowadays, we are consistently subjected to diversions, for example, emails, text messages, and social media, all of which tend to encourage procrastination. To concentrate and absorb what you are learning, it's essential to ensure you have an area where you can practice with little to no interference from the outside distractions. The third compelling tip offered by Dr. Southern is to set goals for your practice time. Singing goals fall into one of two categories: objective and subjective. The objective goal is usually extensive and may include such objectives as singing with less strain or better understanding the story. Subjective aims are more definitive and might involve regulating tongue root tension or something similar. Simply always seek to resist the inclination to rehearse without a clear set of objectives in view. If you have difficulty coming up with objectives for your practice, Dr. Southern suggests using your lesson as a template for your rehearsing. This is an excellent concept since I know that my lessons with students often center on one or two methods of technique that require attention in the upcoming week. Suppose you're a beginner at singing and you aren't currently enrolled in private vocal lessons. You might be interested in experimenting with my free 7 Days to a Better Voice mini course. It can aid you in establishing a plan for your practice sessions over the next 7 days. The fifth practice technique encourages us to start fresh every single day. I think this is a great piece of advice to live by. Every morning offers a chance for a new start, and it's essential to not let yesterday's disappointments or achievements shape what happens today. Dr. Southern goes on to suggest that we begin our practice sessions anew each time, saying, it is tempting to start your practice sessions with the tonal and physical memory of where you ended on the previous day, but this can lead to vocal fatigue and frustration. And no one likes a tired, grumpy singer. Every time you begin to practice, take the time to warm up your voice for the upcoming session. It is easy to just start singing your tunes right away, but if you want to make the most of your practice and ensure your vocal health over the long run, you should warm up for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Even if you warm up your voice sufficiently, it's important to acknowledge that each voice has its own physical boundaries that must be respected. That means that you can't belt out songs for hours on end. I suggest beginning with 20 minutes every other day, then adding 5 minutes every week until you can practice for around about 60 minutes. Dr. Southern states, opinions vary, but it is generally accepted that a maximum one should spend singing in one day is 2 hours. Otherwise, the muscles of the vocal apparatus fail to function efficiently and you run the risk that your singing will not be as healthy. Hey, we've got 3 more practice power tips to go, but before we round out the full 10, please take a quick moment to hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video. I understand how easy it is to just sing a whole tune without breaking it down. It's really better to divide the music into sections so that we can focus in on them more. For instance, we can practice each verse individually. Moreover, we can hone in on specific phrases, paying attention to dynamics, articulation, and breathing. When we break the song into smaller pieces, we can pinpoint the details that may have been missed when we just sang it from start to finish. Dr. Southern's 9th suggestion is to find alternative methods of exercising your vocal folds that don't involve singing on days when you have a sore throat or feel fatigued. For modern tunes, I suggest looking up the song online and watching different covers of it on YouTube, including the original one. This can give you ideas on how others have interpreted the song without straining your voice. Dr. Southern's last suggestion for improving your practice is to consciously and quickly commit your music to memory and then review it regularly. I believe the critical term here is consciously. As Dr. Southern points out, effective memorization is not something that happens accidentally. It takes conscious effort. And the sooner you memorize the lyrics to your song, the sooner you can develop a sense of connection to the narrative, which is, in my humble opinion, the higher goal. So here we have it, 10 ways to really get the most out of your singing practice. If you have any other tips that work for you, please post them in the comments so everyone in the Voice Essentials community can benefit from your knowledge and experience. I'm excited to read what you have to say over the next few weeks. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.